Welcome to another stream of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Picking up right where we left off. No preamble really, not much to say, just getting right into it. I'm finishing this case today. Wow. So we just got into naming our prime suspect, who is actually Carmelo Gusto, the guy who went into the Winter Wing, well, the Autumn Wing, thinking it was the Winter Wing, to recover the body that he thought was going to be discovered from 18 years ago, because he is actually the culprit, and he just set off Judy's trap, because Judy also wanted to catch the culprit. But that is also still attempted murder from Judy, so this is probably not going to go so well for her in the end as well. Right, April 2nd, 3:11 PM, Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
Good. And allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Yes, I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case.
Overruled!
Sir, if you bring up the statute of limitations, just...
There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there is nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either.
Nothing to suggest anything was wrong. Even after, this is well after the fact that Manfred von Karma was found guilty of murder, as well as forging evidence. But nah, all his cases prior to that were probably fine. Don't bother looking into it. In this world, yes, Mystic, 15 years. And the case prior was 18 years ago.
So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection!
Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavell, especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled! Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor?
Yes! Yes, I am! It's fucking Von Karma! That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
How so exactly?
By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how.
Bitch, when have I ever been wrong? In every case so far, I have put you in your goddamn place.
Perhaps it is time you understand how no, the committee sees this case.
The committee's view.
The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
And this is how the committee sees things, is it?
It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order.
Sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there'll be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Miss Bound. Okay. Willing to accept... Yeah, okay. Well, that's true. Only managed... Cheats. Only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. That is true. The real culprit is Miss Bound. Press.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound killed Mr. Frost together?
Why not? You could even imagine they split their roles as that. Mr. Tangaroa could have been the one to commit the act itself, while Miss Bound was to remove the body. What? The thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost? You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be...
Objection!
Miss Bound has freely confessed to all of her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past.
Very well. Then let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present.
Plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto was her attempt to frame him for the murder.
Hold it!
Thank you for head pat. Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder?
No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly did.
Objection!
Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do for now.
On the contrary, there is plenty we can do.
You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. With all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack, we have therefore determined there is no need to investigate either case any further.
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all.
All of the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them. Is that true? Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant...
Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined.
The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now, assuming there really is anything left, that is.
This isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to. It's up to me to point it out to Judge Gavelle. Okay, so it's got to be this line. What don't we have answers to? Years ago, sugar, match fountain, blood. Did we actually do a test on the blood? Does it match the victim? Do we know that for certain? I feel like with process of elimination it has to be this. Nothing else really makes sense. So, objection!
Objection!
I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this?
What is it?
They're test results, carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the Winter Wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence.
There was blood in the Gemini case? Why did I not hear about this from Eustace?
Because Eustace is a bumbling idiot.
Anyway, what about...
Yeah, Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winner about it myself, of course.
You kept this to yourself until now? Despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you've done here today.
Do those really sound like the actions of a man who had all he could eat? As ever, my interest is in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end.
That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace.
I'd rather not.
Guess who's back, losers? And with good news, too. It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive.
Gusto?
He made it.
You're the ones who found me.
Yep. Long time no see, Gusto.
You're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now.
Assistant? No, I'm... He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son.
Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Fate moves in mysterious ways. I am in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about?
Oh, we figured out quite a bit while you were out cold. Including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true?
Miss Bound set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent?
Oh, it's not that. Gusto here's a fan of the old meditation. You know, Om and all that jazz. Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent.
Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay.
Hey, Gusto, old pal. How about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when?
Oh, I was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer? Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here.
Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto, and there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured that they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed.
At least somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth?
Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you to hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record?
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the goddess of hydration.
Thank you very much.
Goddess of justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, Our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you.
We shall see about that.
How can you still be this confident 3 cases in? What do you advise, Judge Gavelle?
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case's lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us?
Understood. I came to see Frost sculptures. Simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half hour early. Miss Bound, Start again. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at around that time? Still mess it up.
I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight. All except for the autumn wing, that is.
I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Well, sneaking into a building's pretty sus, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. Courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case.
I wanted to see Frost's work up close. So I went up to the Gemini. Sorry, I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight. So I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, gas came pouring out. Fascinating. This is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of.
Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind. I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Oh, come on, there must be something.
Oh, we don't have any evidence saying he's lying, so I guess, despite how bullshit it sounds, I guess that's the truth. Okay, case closed. How do these people still have a job? It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. The killer being you, old pal.
So you believe that self-confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me, but I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. Gnurk.
Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason.
He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it?
If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember?
How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder.
Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge.
Yes, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. And the finger marks. Were you the one wearing the gloves? Miss Scone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers. But what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself.
So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected?
Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Well, the motive could be that they weren't partners in the end for some reason. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest to get... Ow. Thank you very much, Onion, for the 8 months. Wait, 8 months? You've been so for 14 months. Thank you for all of that. Blah, 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 blah. You conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not? So you know my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? What can I say? We still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner. Oh look, it's evidence that I'm spontaneously remembering right at the most opportune time. So this is how Wright does it. What are you talking about? We don't have evidence. We're piecing together what we know from the past. You are paying attention, right, Gurk? There will be a test. But you only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement, made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavoured ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze. And whose flavours would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. He only highlighted it to us now. Disingenuous? No, it's not. It's relevant now, so it's coming up now. We established this information beforehand, but we couldn't confront him about it because he was unconscious. Now that he's awake, we are directly confronting him about the information we learned about the past. What is the problem, Gurk?
Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me. That he helped Frost until the day before the final.
In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return?
Objection!
I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead.
If I click my fingers, does that come through the mic? I mean, he does it for me. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return, I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder. That's not how it was. You're saying they didn't give us the Mind Palace clues now because it's a video game and they wanted us to solve it at the right time?
Stop. Have a drink.
It's not disingenuous at all. How it's linked to the game's progression. Thank you. Literally every case has been like that in every game. Like, you get that it's a visual novel, right? It's not some open-world crime-solving game where you can put the pieces together at any time. It has to follow a set path of narrative.
Sure, we stopped working together. It was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay.
Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I? So you see, can't have been me.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in his room. And if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. Someone else used the camera. Did you take pictures of the book? Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. What if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book?
It would be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops.
A sneaky snapshot or 20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it?
Good question. What about during afternoon tea?
Didn't Delicio say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive?
Then, after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangaroa, possessing as he did the only key.
Miss Scone, were Mr. Tangaroa's works the only ones you sampled?
No, dear. I couldn't help myself. When I'd finished my afternoon tea, I tipped over to Chillywinks' room for a little taste too.
Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside this room after the contest had started, but he was gone by the time Miss Scone snuck into it to sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea. I mean, if there's only two. Might as well do it automatically at that point. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last.
You mean to say you have uncovered new evidence?
Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead.
Oh, is it mind games time again?
It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you.
What is it?
You chose to make your entry for the final on your own.
I told you I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove that I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Mind chess time. 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together, and why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponents somehow. Oh, you are quite well defended. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. By my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. Is it mind games time again? I can hear you, you know. Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. And your decision to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skill? You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all. Seems a bit aggressive, I will wait. Frost's son and mine are in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well too. Oh, so you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of World's Greatest Confectioner. Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine. It was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook. I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then, something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps. If so, I want to know why. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Push me too hard, and I'll be on my way back to the medical room. No, wait. And you'd better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Mr. Gusto is trying desperately to make his escape. But he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. Let's figure out what he was really after next. No time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. No. You too had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much. Now you're insulting the way of the confectioner? My goal, my only goal, was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. I have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now. Oh? So you've improved? You bet I have. I didn't do all that training in Zhengfa for nothing. I say when he's in that pose is when I bide my time, and when he's asleep, I push. I looked up to Tangaroa, you know. Spent hours poring over the designs of his work. Even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tangaroa's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might even have become the best someday. Oh, maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. Did you not know that it just contained medical recipes, then? You claim that your only goal was to win the title. Yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook. The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. Can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. Can't let him slip from my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. Do you know what it was worth? Did you need it to help make sweets? So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations? I'm gonna push him on this and make him reveal that he didn't know what it was.
What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold.
You could have made a lot of money if you'd sold it.
I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that.
Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim.
They told us a little about it at the start of the contest.
Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all.
I see you did your homework. Fine, so you know what was really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook to give it its proper title, is a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody had ever heard of.
So he did know that the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. I guess I'll do this one now. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? It's a collection of Tangaroa's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it.
Time to deploy my clue. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zheng Fa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. I see you've
done your homework.
Yes, here are my timetables, and here's my handwriting exercises. Do I get an A? You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest must have been personal.
God! I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. Sick.
He was? Tell me more.
It's none of your business. I told you as much as you need to know.
He looks rattled, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost gotten to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Son's condition. Just tell me about your son. Tell me a little more about your son.
He was my pride and joy, and my biggest fan.
And you entered the contest in order to help him.
You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done anything to help him. Anything.
No, he looks aggressive. Wait.
He would come and see me here at the contest venue too, right up through the semi-final.
Really? You didn't get in the way of your work? If you were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations.
So he wasn't too sick? You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest.
It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening, anyway.
This feels like it could be an important clue. Was the book necessary? You seemed evasive when I first asked, so I'm avoiding that one till last. So you needed the cookbook to cure your son?
Yeah. Nowadays, you can get the medication he needed anywhere. But back then, the book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties.
and to give my all to my work.
And what about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a glance at it?
What makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what the others had made?
I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries.
I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something.
You sure you don't have a taste malfunction yourself? Nothing Mr. Gusto tasted had any flavor. Seems like it could be an important clue. Well, I guess I have to do the top one now. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from?
You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more?
Time to deploy my clue. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details?
It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering.
I see. It must have been very hard on both of you.
Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts.
As I understand it,
Time to have some water.
the Ultimate Cookbook
Stop
contains a
slouching.
recipe for a very particular medication. One that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder.
So he had it too?
2, you say? So your son has a taste disorder then, am I correct?
How did I let that slip?
You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son, but was that really the case?
Of course it was. What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm not so sure that's true based on everything you've told me. Time to deploy my clue. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all. You just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. A confectioner without a sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. You sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusto?
I've had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in that contest. Made all my own entries, no problems.
But you were working with Mr. Frost, you dimwit. Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. Also, you could cure your own taste disorder.
You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I'd kept it hidden for so long. 18 years and nobody knew.
Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook. For the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate.
admit it. Ow. You're good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed ageusia. Ageusia? I developed a taste disorder.
What's ageusia?
It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A confectioner's worst nightmare.
Mr. Fender, is that what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? No. The big man had what they called disassociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all.
So he suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market.
When you say that, Red, I don't know if you're messing with me. Given how often my chat tries to make me say things with the with the suffix "ussy." Yeah, I thought so. Do you want me? I'll say it for you. A gussie. A gussie. God damn it. Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that was the real reason you entered the contest?
It was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win.
Oh, so you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning?
Of course.
What was it that Fender said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creations? Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavour and design, at least up through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you describe. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day?
Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk. But you're not going to like what I have to say. Frost and I were working together right up through the semi-final. I handled the flavour, he did the designing. But I wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, with mine, I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lacked training. That's all there is to it. Happy now?
There don't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony. Yep, not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years, after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Malzarino? See if you can't shake something loose. I think I just might have to, Fender. Right, I've got to press something, and that much is clear. Well, I know that is true, so that's not what I press. You wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on your own with no help. You helped Frost with his, but yours you did alone.
Hold it!
So you're saying Mr. Frost didn't help you at all? But he'd helped you up until then, correct? It's a bit strange for him to stop so late in the contest, no?
Strange or not, it's the truth. Could be he had his reasons too, I wouldn't know.
If he's lying, he's gonna be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Unless that gizmo of yours has a built-in lie detector, Kay. If it did, I'd have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now. Don't worry, Fender. I can tell when he's lying. No doohickeys assistance required. Please, Mr. Gusto, continue your testimony. You lack training. Or you didn't have time because you committed a murder.
Hold it!
And yet I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavour. So what went wrong?
Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day? Do Hecky. Gosh, Hecky.
No, nothing like that. It was, I told you, I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. It's as simple as that.
But Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on its flavour. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight?
Uh,
I don't think he's gonna spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth.
Then perhaps I should ask him about something else. The semi-final, Mr. Frost, or keep going as we are? Can't be keep going as we are. I guess semi-final, we'll try that first. Did something change between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto?
Not really. The only difference between the semi-final and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me.
Hold it!
So you really completed your final entry without Mr. Frost's help?
I may not have had his designs to lean on, but I knew I was still solid when it came to flavour. The visuals were the only thing that changed between the semi-final and the final.
You sure, Gusty, old pal? Gonna have to call you out on that one, I'm afraid. It wasn't just its looks that got a big thumbs down come judgment time. It got trashed on flavour, too. Doesn't sound much like a winner to me.
Despite his confidence, Mr. Gusto failed on flavour, too. The lack of Mr. Frost's assistance shouldn't have affected that. So was there some other difference? An 18-year-old mystery. And the key to unravelling it is finally in my grasp. I just need to remember everything Fender told me about what he and my father discovered. Is that the key line, then? What can I do to prove there was another difference? I got connecting you two, I've got that. Gusto's son visited his father daily up through the semi-final. His son wasn't there. That's a difference, I suppose. Oh my god, was your son actually helping you figure out? No, because if his son was fine, it could have been his son was also helping him cheat by taste testing the whole time. So it's not to do with his training at all, it could be his son. Objection!
Objection!
I can think of one significant difference between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semi-final.
He was? What of it?
What indeed? He was here with you until the semi-final, until he suddenly wasn't for the final. And just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavour to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence. Do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted him to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best for us. Who knows, maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds.
He talks a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad to me.
Indeed. Thankfully, we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavour of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss. Unless Nug were to subscribe. On a 50-month total, 37-month streak. Thank you very, very much, Nug. I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it?
You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. Why not try answering yourself for a change?
What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father?
But taste your creations. Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto.
He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no?
What are you implying?
You've already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
I'll admit it, you're good. Never told anybody of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed a gussia.
No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work.
Dang, now it all makes sense. Our stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here.
You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But do you seriously think I'd trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then.
Did you now?
My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You'd think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just more speculation, that's all it is.
In that case, I ask to speak with your son this instant, and see how much of your story he can corroborate.
Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern.
What?
As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zhengfa to start my training. Put off all ties with the kid for good.
What?
You abandoned your own child?
And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is, even now. Cops have looked all over for him, but no dice.
So, still think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son? Wow.
Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof or otherwise.
Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something. Hi, Nessa. If we don't, the truth might be lost forever.
Where are you, Detective Gumshoe?
I can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir.
Please do, Detective. It's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is...
Hey, Miles. Sorry to cut in on your mind palace time, but I was pondering something myself. Our friend Gusto didn't come here just to check up on the body, did he?
You mean because he tried to open the case?
Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that?
We might, if Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence.
That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now, if you...
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Speak of the devil. I take it you have the test results, Detective.
Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me.
Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of? What? No fair! Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this?
It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out.
What the? Why is everybody always helping you?
I am not the devil. I am the avenging angel of confetti throwing.
Got that.
I'm supposed to be the one in charge here.
Mr. Winner, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say?
Well, all right.
So, Detective Gumshoe, what did the tests have to tell us?
You're not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack.
What are you talking about?
Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were correct.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself.
What is the significance of this blood to this case?
It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years.
You die.
The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case... Mr. Gusto, excuse me, is as good as us finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body.
Ah!
Overruled.
Why would there be traces of your blood there, of all places, Mr. Gusto?
If you won't answer Her Honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too.
There were?
And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed.
Oh yeah! You're talking about what Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again? Oh, did they ever? I never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life.
Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite.
Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable.
The salty bit?
It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit, the harpy thing.
Gemini's lyre. Yes, the lyre. And only the lyre tasted as if it had been flavoured with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry.
Very interesting. Then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth. Where did the salt on the lyre come from?
Did they perhaps use the salt lamp, which was the murder weapon, as part of the sculpture to hide the murder weapon?
Take that!
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident?
Indeed. And I believe that the salt that gave the lyre its flavour came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma had established that both salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost, and it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room.
Right, because the culprit had chucked a piece of chocolate with that on it into the little stream.
Furthermore, aside from the lyre, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room either.
Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were both broken.
The lamps appear to be broken. Bulbs are smashed. Both of them.
Maybe they fell and broke on the floor?
We never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but... Are we thinking maybe it had Gusto's blood on it at some point?
Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. So the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion.
And you are seriously suggesting that the lyre was used to do just that?
I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the lyre so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly.
Hi, Clara. Welcome to the stream.
And so he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the lyre undetected.
And the reason he's here today is...
Hey, Val, take a break. Have some water.
Thank you.
Stop slouching.
18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. No damage. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. How could he be sure that neither Mr. Frost's body nor the evidence wouldn't be discovered someday?
So back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try and cover his tracks.
Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it?
Quad 9s?
No, you cannot take quad 9 damage in RuneScape, Mystic. I mean, health caps at 99. Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it? That you are the one responsible for the IS-7 incident? Oh yeah, it's a rune scimitar from RuneScape, and it does RuneScape noises when it hits me.
Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you that Samson...
And so forth.
Gusto. So I finally got caught, huh? All these years later? Nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor. Or the attorney.
Hi, Handstand.
That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you.
You admit it then? That you murdered Artie Frost?
Sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame.
What do you mean by that?
He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed his true colors. Seriously, Frost, we had a deal.
Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto.
But I helped you. I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces.
Did you? And you can prove that, I suppose.
What do you... Oh, wait. You were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my piece for the final by myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either.
Now you admit that too. So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts.
Go ahead and judge. You've no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything!
Cheese. Grated.
Cheese.
I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand.
You're right. I don't understand. You take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder? Or that you abandoned your son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things?
A man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you, it's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
And you don't care? You're horrible.
So with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yeah, I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangaroa's room.
Ladies and gentlemen bees of the jury, my client isn't perfect.
Yeah, I killed him. It should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up.
I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook, hmm? Tut tut tut.
Frost!
What's this? A cure for taste disorders.
Oh no, that's just too tragic.
A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say?
If you tell anybody, I'll... Ah,
Cure what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm.
why, you... Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it.
So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt.
When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow, so I scraped off all the bloodied bits. I dissolved those salt shavings into some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the harp.
And that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanish.
Frost was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition.
So you decided you had to kill him?
Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think?
So that was the impetus behind it all.
Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I'd figured out how I was going to hide the bloody part.
Inspired by all the ice sculpting tools lying about the place, I guess.
You're not as dumb as you pretend to be. Yeah, figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it up. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy.
But why Samson? Why did you have to frame him?
The next 18-ish hours, I cannot do that for you, Pank. I apologize.
I never meant for the cops to pin it on him.
But you are welcome to browse the VOD channel if you want to watch my playthrough of Alan Wake, which I continued off stream. I turned it into a sort of Let's Play kind of deal. So that could give you some content, if you need something to distract you.
I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. It was your fault. You and the rest of them. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scone's room?
There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person.
What? You tried to frame me, Gusty Pants?
Yeah.
But why? Why poor old me?
I respected Tangaroa. He was the best. A true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did.
Oh, Gusty, how could you?
And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak the corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. Thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it.
I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all?
Why, indeed.
Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Mr. Frost's body?
Pass it off as a sculpture to obscure the time of death or to hide the true crime scene. I suppose time of death, given that you were freezing him. Mr. Gusto needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they'd determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect.
Bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost's. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on some gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse.
Still don't get it, though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all?
The sooner it was found, the smaller the effect of freezing it would have of masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, at least until it had fully frozen.
Oh, awful. Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder.
Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan. He wouldn't even have been arrested, let alone convicted.
You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson, it was all because I found the body?
Don't let him get inside your head, Jutes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto.
It didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. Never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished.
So then, Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body?
I mean, I guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right?
Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless.
Can this really be true? You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you.
Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones.
Oh, what a jerk. I ought to arrest you right now, pal.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, Detective.
Bitch, he literally confessed. What?
So you noticed, huh? Glad somebody did. The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me.
What? Why? You just confessed to murder.
No idea, huh? I guess I better lay it out for you. I killed Frost 18 years ago. Statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise?
That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth?
Once the statute has expired, he can't be charged, so...
But... How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusto's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record, and that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place.
That is bullshit. But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusto, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis.
Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine.
So the committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what?
Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor.
There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusto down. I would like to draw your attention to the statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Mr. Gusto, when this was over, where did you go to resume your training? And how long were you there for? Hmm?
Hold it!
Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute may not have expired yet.
This ought to be good. Alright, I got nothing to hide.
レンジ、お前も好きだった。
何のつもりだ。
If there's something you want to ask it.
Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident.
Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from the book. Not so long after that, I went to Zhengfa to really buckle down and hone my craft.
Well, that explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh?
Could be. I left, let's see, around a year after the murder. It was before Tangaroa's last day in court. Going to Zhengfa was the best thing I ever did. Flavor, design, I'm the full package now.
Dude, if you were there for at least 3 years, I've got you.
Objection!
And all on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed.
What's an omelette without a few eggs, hmm? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor. Nothing.
You're evil.
Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me. That's all that matters.
I need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? Yes, his time in Zhengfa. I'd like you to tell us more about your training in Zhengfa, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine. I later went to Zhengfa to train, and I finally became the best in the world.
I still don't know for how long, though.
Hold it!
Making the mother of all omelets here. Edgy boy. Can't fret over every egg.
Zhengfa. And you were there for a while, I imagine.
Yeah, I left sometime after the investigation had wrapped up. I've been meaning to go there and start my studies for a while. And thanks to the hard work I put in, my designs are now world class.
Whoa, that's amazing.
You like it? It's yours.
Really? All right.
So he spent some time in Zhengfa training. It's gotta be this. He's just not mentioning how long he was there. Objection!
Objection!
The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Which means that the time you spent abroad doesn't count toward the total time under the statute.
No way. It's like someone hit pause while he was in Zhengfa. It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. But that will depend on how long you stayed in Zhengfa, Mr. Gusto.
It was 3 years exactly.
Oh! 3 years? Hold on. Oh, nobody say anything until I've done the math. The murder happened 18 years back. The statute's 15 years. Add the 3 overseas. 15 plus 3 makes exactly 18, which means... No way! Mr. Edgeworth, you did it! The statute hasn't expired after all!
Bingo! 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourselves.
He's just been stringing us along this whole time.
Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now.
Hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. If Gusto's stay in Zhengfa really lasted 3 years on the nose, it's not enough. We're a few months short.
Not enough? But...
What did I tell you? You can't touch me.
I hate to admit it, but he'd read the board well when he read the board well when he made his confession. Yeah, we also have condition 2. Hang on. The statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. And we know from the case file that he was arrested as an accomplice based on his confession. So that's my next card to play.
Mr. Gusto, you're evil.
Oh, what do you expect? When I was in Zhengfa, I was trained by none other than Manfred von Karma. Man's really good with his hands, as it turns out.
What? How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statute had been suspended for another year. Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed.
No, that's more of a goofy sound, that. Must be something I can do.
Knew it. Oh, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusto to justice, then...
Dudes, what are you thinking?
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your rap sheet just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. Because there's still a way we can nail him.
There is?
Alright, Mauserino, pep talk. You need to think back over everything we know about the case. Gusto's overlooked one critical thing that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is, he wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means, there's still one way left to us. Crack open your statutes for dummies there and take another look. 17 years ago, they really did a number on Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good use of that verdict, we can make Gusto pay in full for what he's done. Because the trial lasted a year. That gives us a year of extra time that was paused, meaning this is still viable for us to arrest him. Because the accomplice was arrested a year later, making it 14 years now. That was active time passing for the statute. Fender, are you...
Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail.
Samson's my client, Miles. I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you. Why would I not? Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So should I raise an objection and play that card or not? I will save the game. I will raise an objection.
Hey, Val, take a break. Have some water.
Thank you.
Stop slouching.
My father and Mr. von Karma, one sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I choose to follow. The one that seeks to reveal the truth.
This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusto has been found not guilty on all counts.
Objection!
No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished.
Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest?
I do. Now, to show Judge Gavelle something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired.
Take that!
Very well. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 case file you would like us to refer to?
Suspect data? I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice, and it took around 1 year from his indictment for that verdict to be reached.
Yes, that does seem to be the case.
The book you gave us details certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial.
What? Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice?
Yup. Yes, you were in Zhengfa when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you, and not good news either, am I right?
But how can that be? Tangaroa wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent, and you know it.
Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Zhengfa, and your accomplice Samson Tangaroa was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all.
The goddess's judgment is infallible, but that of her servant, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred. Unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No! How could this? You aren't supposed to be able...
18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto. Not a moment too soon.
But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything! Even my son!
More's the pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. I know there's a say something, but this is a dramatic moment and I didn't want to ruin it.
Mr. Gusto's all set for his trip downtown, sir.
Alright.
Well, it seems you failed, Mr. Edgy the Hedgy. Mr. Gusto, I am ruling you as not guilty.
Objection! Stop being so mean to me, Your Honor, or I will cry. There you go.
Oh, good. Which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so. Jude. So sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last.
I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. But those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return, on behalf of the prosecution.
Oh, no, I have no one to blame but myself for it all. Starting with those sculptures. Hey, Jude, I think maybe you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. And there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Aw. I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Sorry, ma'am, but you gotta come with me now.
Of course.
Judge Gavel, why did you lie to us?
Lie? What are you talking about?
You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found.
I am under no obligation to answer such questions.
And you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Her English name in the unofficial translation was Catherine Hall, pun on catering hall. Oh. And given nickname Kate. Cater. Okay, that's neat. I'm betting pretty much everyone who doesn't have like an established character in another game had a different name in the unofficial translation.
Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the committee for prosecutorial excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you'll be called to appear before the committee in due course.
What, for finding the truth? For doing your job better than you?
Now, I must be on my way. What the heck? And after you caught the real killer and everything? Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do?
Regardless of how it may all play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today.
Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes?
Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job.
My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person.
I don't get it.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner.
That's going way over my head. I'm going home.
Absolute shit, kid.
What was that all about?
Eustace still has a lot to learn, is all.
Milesy Wilesy!
Yes?
I just wanted to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. That, and thanks for helping poor Sammy Poople.
Of course.
Hey, Edgy, looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go?
Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you?
Though I am loath to admit it, Larry's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Full name in Japanese play on the phrase Oyashiki o Sukasadoru, which means to manage the residence. The kanji in a surname means resident or mansion. Would be a play on okashi, which means sweet and candy. And that kanji by itself means blanket or tablecloth. So many layers of puns considering how many different things certain kanji can mean. Not that I'm about to tell him that.
Oh, quit it with the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry!
Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you.
Yeah, you totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar, too.
He was?
Listen, I'm gonna head out. Need to fill Samson in on what went down today. You wanna come with?
Yes, of course.
Great, and I'm coming too.
So, what's Mr. Tangaroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him.
Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. That's why 3 PM cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike. Really? Well, that sounds awesome. You think there'll be any left for us to try?
Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? They've been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods.
Gummy, what are you doing here?
I heard you were all coming to see Mr. Tangaroa. I volunteered to escort him.
He does look a bit older now. Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
And Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday.
It's very nice to meet you both.
Miles is Gregory's son.
Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and... But don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fender's explained everything to me.
Sure did. And now we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago.
The truth? Judy did all that? For me?
Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she'd finally figured out how to set you free. What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you.
Oh, Judy, I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you is held strong for all these years, after all. You think so? I guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound share?
Take that!
The chocolate, obviously. Those chocolates... Judy made them, didn't she? Yes, she did.
It's super delicious and sweet.
Miss Bound continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. So that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy. I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so, I'm afraid. Only wish we could hand them to you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later.
Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway. Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad.
Oh, really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model.
So how you holding up, Tangy? Prison treating you alright?
Oh, it was terrifying at first. But it turns out prison is pretty fun after you get over killing your first dozen guys. I didn't hear that. Come on, he would never hurt a fly. You don't say. It seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together.
You'll hang in there, Samson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice.
Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather... thank you. Truly.
Samson.
I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I'd better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie.
I'll leave it to me, big guy.
The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we'd inherited from my father is finally coming to a close.
Hey, Miles. Thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that.
Not at all. I simply made the call that felt right to me.
What are you guys talking about? You know how Samson was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his false conviction against him, even to save him, as his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah, I can see that. But now that Gusto's behind bars,
I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned.
Yes, and I'm sure you will.
Wait a minute, does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free?
Yep.
It's what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. The law is far from perfect. Because of things like legal contradictions, right? Yeah. Well, you never know. Things might change. Law's always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Mauserino included, am I right?
The potential for growth and change, and people and the law,
So, Miles, are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer.
I know. What do you mean, accidentally? The game started as like a whole massive statement against the Japanese legal system. It's not by accident. Because the Japanese legal system is fucked.
Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time. I always repay my debts, but for now... Thanks again for today. I mean it.
Yeah, like Japan has something like a 99 point something rate of convictions turning out to be guilty. And that was like, basically the whole premise for this game is to overturn that. And stand up for the downtrodden who always suffer.
He seemed kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you.
He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my father's final case.
Val, stop. Have a drink.
Stop slouching.
When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not.
Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. May have taken 18 years. We're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy Miles. Couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It was like I was watching you. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but those guiding principles you try to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping. Your boy will be joining me in that soon.
Am I going to fight crime as a prosecutor or help as an attorney? What's the right answer? Which path should I choose? The end of episode 3. And considering we're barely halfway through the stream, straight into episode 4. A Turnabout Forsaken.
I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but I hope you can rest easy knowing I hunted that blood-sucking son of a bitch Von Karma down and staked him right in his cold heart. I hereby call this meeting to order. A committee is gathered here in the sight of the goddess to pass fair and frank judgment. The purpose of this hearing is to assess the professional competency of Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Uh-oh. Are they gonna fire me? Are you... Why are you wearing that raincoat? No! Wait, no, fuck off, you're not killing off Kay! What? Wait, what? April 5th, 1:23 p.m. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Will you please stop pacing, Detective? You're kicking up dust.
But I swept the floor 3 times already.
Then sweep it a 4th. They're gonna take your...
They're gonna take your badge, Mr. Edgeworth. How can you just stand there cool as a cucumber?
We don't know for certain that they will.
Well, it sure seems like they mean to. Judge Gavelle pretty much spelled it out.
Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you'll be called to appear before the committee in due course.
She said that I'll be called to appear before the committee. Nothing more.
Well, I don't care. I won't stand for it. What if we never get to work together again?
I'd have thought you would welcome the prospect, Detective. After all, it would mean you could work with someone less problematic.
Oh, don't say that, sir. I've never heard anyone except that stupid committee say you're problematic. You're not just looking for an excuse, are you? To become a defense attorney, I mean. Because I won't let you. You're Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Prosecutor! You hear?
To become a defense attorney, huh? The circumstances of my father's death set me on the path to becoming a prosecutor. But I'd only been interested in the law to begin with thanks to my father as well. And his work as a defense attorney.
You gonna keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you got a big decision ahead of you. Oh, one only you can answer.
Are you listening, Mr. Edgeworth? I said I won't let you do this.
Really, Detective, there's no need to be so dramatic. Who knows, the next prosecutor you work with might be a little more lenient with your salary assessments.
Really? So, no more instant noodles? I mean, no! Well, what are you saying, sir? I don't care about any of that stuff.
Oh, but you thought about it, didn't you? If only for a moment.
We're busy in here. Come back later.
Hey there, is the prosecutor in? Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth?
Oh, look, pal, what part of we're busy don't you get? Wait outside, I'll be with you in a bit.
But that's not good. Your face is as red as a tomato. Red face, gritted teeth. Let's see.
I said we're busy.
Wait, that's it. Stomach cramps, right? No need to worry. It's nothing an injection can't cure. Now roll up your sleeve for me. Won't hurt much.
No thanks, pal. I'm healthy as can be.
And who might you be?
Oh, sorry. Totally forgot to introduce myself, huh? The name's Needler. Florence Needler.
Okay. Florence as in Nightingale, but Needler because you like sticking people with needles?
I'm a nurse at Hertz Hospital.
Yeah, alright. Well, nobody here is hurt, so are you sure you have the right room?
Yeah, you're Prosecutor Edgeworth, right? Oh, those are some deep furrows in your brow. Are you feeling alright? Suffering from a severe headache? I could give you an injection that...
I'll be fine, thank you. Would you please tell us what you're doing here?
Oh, sure. Well, it's like this. I brought somebody to see you. Wait right there, I'll go grab her.
Oh, wait!
Too late. I wonder who she brought along. If she's here from a hospital, maybe it's a patient? Someone you cut down to size with your trademark rapier wit?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
See? That right there, sir. When you glare... When you glare are me...
At? Capcom? At?
When you glare at me like that, I lose the will to live. You don't want to send me to the hospital, do you?
Surely he's exaggerating. After all, that's the look I always give him. I always give him, and nothing's happened so far. Higher pay or more time, because this is feeling a little rushed. With how many errors we've had.
Sorry to keep you fellas waiting. Well, thoughts?
Thoughts on what?
You don't recognize me?
There's something about her. Something familiar.
I got this. Had your name on it. So I thought just maybe...
So you really did put somebody that...
Don't be ridiculous, detective.
Look, sir, your name's right there on the card. Public Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Plain as day.
Be that as it may.
I'm so sorry, What she's trying to say is she has amnesia.
Oh god, did Kay lose her memory from the fall?
Amnesia?
Yes, at least that's what they tell me. Her parents must be so worried about her. I bet they've only been getting around 8 hours of sleep each night. You ought to feel for them. Only?
Bet I'm lucky to get 5. Do I, though? Because that's quite a lot of sleep, if you ask me. Actually, I'm lucky to get 4.
Oh, tough break. Well, don't you worry, alright? Since you had his card, that means you really must know Mr. Edgeworth somehow. So just sit back and we'll take it from here. Right, sir?
At the very least, we might be able to help you figure out your identity.
Really? Will you?
It's going to come down to what you remember, but yes.
That's the Mr. Edgeworth I know. Don't worry, miss, you're as good as healed.
Let's not get carried away here, detective. I'm a prosecutor, remember, not a miracle worker. Where do we even start?
So, do you remember your name, miss?
I'm sorry. She's been like this since she came in yesterday.
So she's only been in the hospital for a day.
No way, that's amazing. How'd you figure it out so fast?
How can one person be so emotionally draining?
They found her wandering around late last night and brought her in. I wanted to help out, so I went through her stuff to see what I could find.
And did you find anything apart from my business card?
Nothing with her name or home address. Oh, wait a second. She was wearing this. A pretty unique design, right?
This pin?
What the heck? I got a Garasu pin. What does that mean? But it can't be.
Kay? Is it really you?
Kay. It's you, isn't it, Kay?
I'm Kay?
Come on, Kay, you really don't remember? Look, it's me, Gummy. That's what you always call me.
Gummy. But you're an adult, that's so rude. I don't really call you that, do I? I'm so sorry, I can't believe I feel so guilty now.
What the heck happened to you? I never seen you so polite. Being polite and sensitive's just not... where's the Kay I know? You're nothing like her.
Careful, Detective. We wouldn't want her to get the wrong impression. You make it sound as if Kay isn't normally a polite or sensitive soul. Not that he's wrong exactly, but...
What kind of person was I before?
Well, first of all, your full name is Kay Faraday. You're bright and fun, full of energy, and... oh yeah, you're a great thief.
Great thief?
There's a little more to it than that, but yes. Thieves generally steal other people's valuables from their dressers or vaults and...
Steal? But that must be so awful for the people I took things from. Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was a criminal. Maybe I lost my memory as some sort of punishment.
No, that's not what I meant at all. My wallet's gone.
Mine too.
Sorry, here they are. I've also got your gun, your backup gun, and this photo of someone kissing Mr. Edgeworth right on the...
Yeah, that's Kay.
I don't think that did her much good, sir.
It sure explains one thing. Look at these gloves. They're just the kind of person like that would wear.
Hey, an outfit!
This is what she was wearing when they found her. We had to get her to change out of it and put on hospital clothes, that's why I have them.
There's something on this part here. Could have something to do with how Kay lost her memory.
I'll send the outfit over to forensics later and see what they can figure out.
Please do, Detective. Suit blue. There. Gwa. I like how that's just my thing now. Just Gwa.
Boy, they really are some fiefy clothes, huh? A criminal.
You may be a great thief, but you never committed a crime in your life. Rest assured, you are no criminal. I don't know, she has broken and entered a couple times, hasn't she? That's how we met.
You say so.
Perhaps we'd better leave it there for now.
I'm sorry. I wish I could remember who you are. How do we know each other exactly?
Well, that is... How do I put it into words?
You're Prosecutor Edgeworth's assistant.
I am? The prosecutor is the head of some sort of great thief network, then?
No, not quite.
I last saw Kay 2 days ago. Perhaps we should try to figure out what she's been doing since then. Was the pin the only item on her person when you received her, Nurse Needler?
There were a few other things, but I doubt any of it will be much use to you.
I'll be the judge of that. Could you please show them to us?
All right, then. In no particular order, I present...
A German ninja mask? Was she at a show or something?
A letter, and it's addressed to Kay. Next, a ticket stub, and finally, a $6 ticket for the big building! She went to the big building!
A fake flower? Oh, the kind people like to spruce up their bathrooms with, too.
It's a corsage, Detective. They're usually worn by women. Not always.
And that's that. So, anything useful in there?
Kinda hard to tell. Frankly, I'm not really seeing a connection between any of them.
I should take a closer look at each piece later when I have the chance. I kinda really want to read that letter.
This is bad. How do we get Kay's memory back?
Kinda can rotate it, but nothing standing out on it. Dear Kay, don't worry, I'll make sure you get your precious thing back. Rosie. Rosie. Big building, viewing platform. Okay.
We can't just let her stay like this forever.
Calm down, detective. I have an idea.
You do? I knew you'd come to the rescue, sir. So what is it?
Look closely at the ticket stub.
Oh, it's for the viewing platform at the top of the big building.
The big building? You know the place?
Everybody knows it, silly. It's the hottest date spot in town. They say that if a couple holds hands while they're up there, they'll stay together forever.
This is yesterday's date, and the ticket is only valid on the date specified.
Plus it's a stub. I mean, she used it, right?
I think it's a distinct possibility. Well, shall we go see what we can find?
Now? Just like that?
And the only way to figure out how Kay lost her memory is to retrace her steps.
What about your thing with the committee?
It's not for a little while yet, we have time.
Great, so can I leave Kay with you?
That would be for the best, but you don't mind, do you, Kay?
Oh, of course not. Thank you. Alrighty then, back to work I go. If you need anything, feel free to give me a holler at Hertz Hospital, okay? I can come running with a syringe free, wherever you might happen to be.
Yes, thank you. I doubt we'll be needing that particular service. Someone really likes their needles. Now then, detective, shall we get going? You too, Kay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, of course.
Save the game, okie dokie. April 5th, Big Building Plaza.
So according to this pamphlet, the big building's 50 stories high. It's all offices inside, so the viewing platform up top is the only part that's open to the public. Here, this one's for you, sir. They were handing them out for free at the ticket area.
Oh, very kind of you, detective. A cross-section of the building and a plan of the viewing platform. Alright, I think it's time we headed inside. Okay. Yes, it is called The Big Building.
Look out! The big building! It's about to fall!
What?
Oh, we gotta do something!
Wait, what?
Oh, please, I'm begging you, stop! It's no good. Without fresh milk, my thoughts just aren't getting through to him.
What?
What's happening here? What's going on with the building? Stay calm and talk to me, kid.
Cut! I'm so sorry. We're shooting a movie. So, could you,
yes, I thought as much. Is that... What's her name? Oh, gosh. Oh, what was her name? Penny? No? She was in Game 1, Case 3. At the TV studio for the Steel Samurai. Forgive our intrusion. We'll get out of your way. Detective.
Sorry. Really had me there for a second.
Whatevs. Hey, director guy, can we take 5? I can't work under these conditions. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, gosh. So they stopped the building from falling down? That's good.
I wish we had time to explain, but maybe later. Come along, you two. Let's make ourselves scarce. I wonder if I get to talk to them. Alright, we're on top of the big building.
Oh, get a load of that view. feel the sun on your face.
The wind is very strong up here.
Oh, that's okay. You just stand behind me or Mr. Edgeworth here. We're both more than big enough to keep the breeze away.
Speak for yourself. Okay, does this place bring back any memories?
I'm not sure. Have I really been here before?
Perhaps simply encouraging her to talk will help. Okay, please. Any thoughts or feelings that come to mind might be a clue we can use.
Alright, I don't know if this will be of any help at all, but... I still can't be sure if I've even been here before. It's so high up and the wind is so strong. It's terrifying. I don't remember, I just don't remember anything. It's no good. I'm so sorry.
No dice, huh?
Sorry, I feel so useless. I know I'm supposed to have all these memories, but I just can't remember.
You have amnesia, Kay. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Listen, sir. Maybe just this once. Try not to be so intimidating, okay? Or at the very least, don't use your trademark glare on her.
Nobody asked for your opinion, detective. What am I supposed to do with this? Why do you find it terrifying? I guess maybe we can push on that. I used to love places like this, though.
But am I really her? I feel dizzy just taking a look around. I don't even think anyone should be allowed up here. What if an old person fell, or a child? Doesn't bear thinking about.
There's a fence all around us, and it's plenty high. There's really no need to worry.
If you say so.
Well, there's no penalty for doing so. Present your prosecutor's badge. I swear I'm still gonna lose health. I'm sorry, Kay, but I'm afraid there's a contradiction in your testimony.
Contradiction? Is it because I can't remember anything? Even still, I just can't see how that piece of evidence is related to anything.
Yeah, no, there's still a penalty, Lauren. Thanks.
You okay, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm fine, Kay. You needn't worry about me. We'll get your memories back, I promise.
Hold it!
Making me lose health. You can lose health for making a mistake in any testimony. It doesn't matter where we are. If nothing is coming to mind, then just take a look around. Do you recognize anything? Anything at all?
Let's see. Cherry blossoms?
Go on.
I was standing under the cherry tree? Yes, I was trying to stay out of the rain. It was raining. I remember now. And there was a red something.
So it was raining. She was underneath the cherry tree. And she saw something red from where she stood, but what?
Was it something I said?
No, but if you could add that to your testimony, we can explore it further.
Hold it!
This something red. Can you tell me more about it?
I'm not sure. It was just a red thing. That's all I can say.
What can we see nearby that's red? Was it the concession stand over there, perhaps?
Stand. Red concession stand.
Val.
Yes,
stop.
I think that was it. No.
Have a drink.
Stop
Thank
slouching.
It looks orange to me, but alright.
Somebody was walking toward me from beyond it.
And then what happened?
Then, I'm sorry.
That's alright. If you could just add what you've told us to your testimony.
Someone walking toward me from beyond the concession stand.
Hold it!
The stand in question is the one behind you, correct?
That's right. I remember the red color and the person walking toward me from beyond it.
I saw it all from under the cherry tree.
Tell me something. This person you keep mentioning, did you not see their face, or did you simply not know who they were? Hang on a sec. There's not really a lot of room there, but I guess?
I'm sorry, I'm just not sure.
All we have to go on is a person walking toward her from beyond the concession stand, and the fact she saw this from beneath the cherry tree. I have to get something out of her somehow. Maybe if I pressed her a little, I can shake something loose. Walking toward you from beyond the concession stand. I mean, with how this looks, were they hiding behind it? Where would they have even come from? Were they inside the stand and came out? I feel like the game wants me to call this out, so I'm going to. I'm just not sure where exactly it's going to go. Objection!
Objection!
You said that you saw someone over there beyond the stand, and that they were walking toward you?
Yes, I can see them getting closer.
Are you sure it wasn't a ghost?
No, it was a person, I'm sure of it.
From where you were standing, anyone you saw on the other side of the concession stand would have to have been floating in midair, hundreds of feet above the ground. Okay, so yeah, we are going with the there was no room for a person there angle. Okay. So how on earth could it have been a person?
I'm not lying, I promise. Somebody read, somebody read, they were on the other side. They were walking toward me, getting closer and closer. And then they...
Ah. Oh, that's quite a scream. Okay.
Okay, what's the matter? You're alright, we're here. Whatever it is, it can't hurt you.
I was pushed. And I fell. By a person in a red raincoat.
A person in a red raincoat who could walk on air. You supposedly pushed her off the building. None of this makes any sense. Not the least of which, nobody could fall from this height and survive.
Attention everyone, please stay right where you are.
What's wrong, officer? I'm Detective Gumshoe. Mind filling me in?
Oh, yes, sir.
A body has been discovered.
Sorry, force of habit. A body has been discovered here in this building, sir.
A body?
Whose body, exactly?
Not sure, still working on it. But what we do know is that the victim is a young woman. And that her name is Kay. But...
What the...
what the blazing...
What? What? April 5th, 2:36 p.m. Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. Chamber. Wait, this room? Officer, isn't this...
Oh, yes, sir. It's the trial chamber of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
Oh, so it's here now?
I knew that they'd moved out of the prosecutor's building. I had no idea that they'd come here.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, and Kay too. How are you all doing? Kay feeling any better?
When we heard there was some kind of incident. I'm sorry, but who might this be?
This is my grandma. Hold on one second. Name's Hilda Hertz, Sonny. And who the heck might you be?
It's a pleasure to meet you. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Nurse Needler, your grandmother's name, Hertz, is she...
Yup, she's the director of Hertz Hospital.
This old fogey woman is the head of the hospital?
Don't you old fogey me, you danged reprobate.
How did she do that?
Oh, sounds like you're kind of a big deal, ma'am. Yeah?
Gotta go full hog with it.
That's not true. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. Oh, him? He's the one looking after the girl, the one with amnesia.
It seems Dr. Hertz is a bit of an introvert.
Want me to fix those brow furrows of yours, Sonny?
Oh, there's no fixing those, ma'am. They're downright incurable.
You're sure you want me to say that, Grandma? Well, alright then. Now, I don't got a dang thing more to say to none of you. You go on about your business, you hear? As long as that business don't involve messing with the deceased body. I got work to do.
Wait, please, we...
Not a dang thing, I tell you.
You can't talk to us like that. What gives you the right, huh, pal?
Didn't I mention? Grandma's also a coroner. She's in charge of this case, which means... Ow! Which means exactly that.
What do you mean? Exactly what?
How am I supposed to know? She said it, not me.
It's like I'm trapped in a comedy routine I can't escape.
Well, we got a body to be looking at. Catch you later, gang. Take care.
What the heck is their deal?
What does it matter as long as we have permission to investigate?
What does it matter? It matters a bunch, sir.
What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Examine the scene of the crime, of course. What kind of prosecutor would I be if I didn't? Alright, let's get to work.
The person over there is called K, right? Surely that means I can't be the K you know.
That's what we're looking to figure out. But don't worry. You're the K we know. I'm certain of it.
Thanks.
A K who lost her memory and a victim who shares her name. Both meeting their respective fates here at the big building. No doubt this case will be the key to restoring our K's memories. I'd stake my life on it. Okay. So if we're not allowed to look at the body yet, what else can we... Oh. There's a statue of the goddess of justice.
You sure know your stuff, sir. So does she dole out blessings, or what?
Well, she's not that kind of goddess, Detective. She's a symbol of the sanctity of the law. The scales represent justice, the sword, retribution, and the blindfold shows her impartiality. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Yeah, maybe the blood. There's a pool of blood here at the foot of the statue. Judging by the amount and how it has spread, I'd say this is where the victim was killed.
Oh, but the body's on that table behind us, sir. How come?
I can only surmise the killer must have moved it for some reason after committing the murder.
Oh, this is one big statue. What's it even for?
The Goddess of Justice stands in judgment over the committee's proceedings against corrupt prosecutors. And if I'm not very much mistaken, it's a Paul Halik original.
You mean the victim from the IS-7 incident, sir? Mr. Artie Frost?
No matter how murky his name or morals were, there's no denying his skill. This is a genuine work of art.
I heard someplace that a lot of good artists are either geniuses or eccentrics. Which do you think he was?
I don't know about Halik, but Larry is definitely an eccentric.
Hey, Val, take a break. Have some water.
Thank you.
Stop slouching.
Anything back there? Nice, neatly arranged bookshelves stretching off into the distance. Quite a pleasing sight, don't you think?
Sure is. There's not a speck of dust on any of them. Reminds me of my special method for cleaning your office, sir. Sweep, then vacuum, and wipe it all down twice. Then on goes the floor wax, and then...
If only you approached your actual job with the same level of rigor. Officer, tell me about the security arrangements for this room.
Yes, sir. You need a special keycard to enter, sir.
Interesting. So not just anybody can enter. Another locked room mystery, who would have guessed? In which case, the person who discovered the body would have been...
Yes, sir. Member of the committee. They found it when they arrived for today's hearing.
A hearing? My hearing. Which would be underway right now if it wasn't for this.
Sorry to intrude.
Yo!
Who are... What's that, Grandma? Don't know that voice anywhere. That's Von Karma's little girl. Oh, so you two know each other?
It's her! Yeah!
It has been too long, Grandma Hertz. And you as well, Miles Edgeworth.
What's she doing here? Franziska von Karma. She's the daughter of Manfred von Karma and a prosecutor like myself. These days she's mainly been working with Interpol, though I thought she was supposed to be abroad.
Don't look so surprised. Where my investigations lead, I follow, no matter where in the world that might be.
Which means that there must be some kind of international angle to this case, yes?
You know full well that I've been pursuing a certain smuggling ring.
Girl kisser spotted. Hi, it's me. I am the girl kisser.
And that I won't rest until it has been destroyed and its ill-gotten goods recovered.
So the smuggling ring is involved then?
That information is to be shared on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
I see she means to be as helpful as ever.
Miss Von Karma, was it? Grandma wants to tell you something. I'm about done here. Scene's all yours.
In that case, we'd like to examine the body ourselves too, if you wouldn't mind.
I mind plenty. I remember where I heard about you now, you dang varmint. Don't need no soon-to-be ex-prosecutor messing the place up. Go on, git. Just remember, it's not me saying this stuff, okay? Please, Granny, it's important. Who you calling a granny, little missy? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Well, this is going nowhere. I didn't want to have to do this, but... Franziska, I need you to add us to this investigation. We have to see that body up close, or we'll never learn the truth about what happened to Kay.
As in, Kay Faraday?
Please, you gotta help us out here. Kay needs us.
I don't know what you're up to, but very well.
Thank you. You won't regret it.
Of course, I expect to receive a full explanation when I grill you later.
Yes, Mommy.
We owe you, sir. Big time.
I wasn't talking to you, Scruffy. Well, Grandma Hertz, will you allow them to examine the body? I ain't about to say no to an international big shot like yourself, hun.
But are you sure about this? Yeah, I agree with Grandma. Are you sure you're sure? Of course I'm sure. It's my prerogative to judge the whole world in my name. That's just common sense.
Of the extremely arrogant sort, perhaps. Oh yeah, I did that. I was ready. It's like Gumshoe and Franziska in the same scene, it's gonna happen eventually. I was primed.
Suit yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. Well, you heard her. Try not to get fired, okay? Don't worry. It'll take a lot more than this to ruin my reputation should things turn sour.
Unlike me, who's on the verge of losing my badge. Alright, well now we can look here.
Well, one thing's for certain. This isn't Kay. She doesn't even look like her.
I think we knew that already, Detective. Our Kay's standing right over there, after all. The victim looks to be in her 30s. She's wearing a white suit.
Could be she worked in one of the offices here in the building.
Perhaps, but for now she remains unidentified. Question is, why did the police seem to think her name was Kay? I'll scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Well, judging from the wound, this appears to be the murder weapon. Appears to be.
You think this could be the murder weapon?
A three-armed candelabrum. The victim suffered the same number of puncture wounds to the chest. Puncture wounds that could well have been made by these spikes.
Candle album?
Not quite, Detective. A candelabrum. A candle holder, in other words.
I gotcha. That reminds me. I forgot to pay my electricity bill once a while back. I had to live by candlelight for a whole month.
Who does that in this day and age?
Alright, you have a key card. Seems she suffered a serious burn to her hand at some point.
You think it's something to do with how she died?
No, the scar's too old for that. I would imagine it happened some time ago. Ooh, she's holding something. Detective, could you open her hand for me?
Yes sir, right away. What is that? Oh wait, I know. It's a loyalty card. Probably from a store.
It's a key card.
Why, sir? Why?
The question we should be asking is, what does it open? Not added as evidence, it's added to the logic. Okay. This book.
Well, that's Kay's promise notebook. It's where she wrote down all the promises she made to her dad. I haven't seen this in a while.
Indeed. Oh god, is it her mum? Kay's promises to Daddy. Promise 1, never take things from a stranger. Promise 2, never go anywhere with a stranger. A book of vows made by a child to her father. Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. What exactly is it doing here?
I just remembered something Detective Matt told me a few years back. He said something precious to Kay had disappeared from the station.
What? Evidence went missing from police custody?
Detective Bass said he looked for it everywhere, but no dice.
What could this mean? Why did it turn up here of all places? You there. What do we know about this notebook, officer?
The victim was holding it when they found her, sir. It was the only thing with any kind of name on it at the time.
Oh, so that's how she became Kay.
Talk about a red herring. Still doesn't explain how she ended up with it, though.
We had a few more leads on the victim's true identity. Doesn't look as if there's anything in the chest pocket.
Well, nothing except this hole right here.
You just imagine he's poking his finger through, just interfering with the crime scene as he does that. By the look of how the fabric was torn, I think it was pierced by something sharp.
I can't keep your coins in there now, they'd all fall right out.
Have you never heard of a change purse, Detective?
You sure have, sir. It's another word for a pocket, right?
I give up. There's something pinched to the jacket here. Piece of magenta fabric. Whatever it was, it looks like it was torn off pretty roughly. Oh god, Kay's gonna get...
Iggy.
The rest of the flour, which was in Kay's possession, so cue fucking Winner and Gavel walking in and accusing her of murder.
My name is Kay Faraday, and I'll be your Maya Fey for this turnabout. In other words, I'm probably getting accused of murder.
Yeah. Pure white jacket with a deep red stain on its lapel. This jacket, the buttons are on the wearer's right-hand side.
Oh, what's so weird about that? Buttons always go on the right, no?
Not on women's clothing. Traditionally, the buttons would be on the left.
Well, like I always say, sir, you sure know your stuff.
Well, this is common knowledge, Detective. Nothing else seems amiss. Wait, what's this in the pocket?
A pair of gloves, also white.
They don't seem to be soiled in any way. I imagine they must have belonged to the victim. Could this be related to the evidence? Yes.
Eureka!
Judging by its appearance, I'd say that the flower Kay was carrying originally belonged to the victim.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it does look like it's made out of the same fabric.
Indeed. Well, let's make a closer comparison.
The torn edges match up exactly. You got one heck of an eye, sir.
Okay. We've now tied Kay to the crime. Wonderful. If the flower belonged to the victim...
This implies a connection between the victim and Kay Faraday. Furthermore, it appears that the flower was torn off with considerable force. Kay Faraday was involved in the incident somehow, and based on what we're seeing here, we may have no choice but to treat her as our main suspect.
What? There's no way she could have done this. I can't even begin to imagine it. There isn't a murderous bone in her body.
Nevertheless, we lack the evidence to disprove such an assertion.
For the moment, we're simply considering all the possibilities. Isn't that right, Miles Edgeworth?
For better or worse, yes. The victim's hair is caked with blood.
Well, looks like she was hit with something, huh?
Unfortunately, it's too early to say for certain. Perhaps an answer will turn up as we investigate further. Anything else of note? That might be it. Okay.
Yes, what is it? A murder in the trial chamber of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. This is serious. I did you the favour of allowing you to investigate further. I'll be expecting results.
And you'll get them. Would I still be here if I didn't think I could deliver?
Come to think of it, why were you here in the first place?
I did examine her head. So she doesn't know I was summoned before the committee.
That's a long story. Longer than the night time. And deeper than the sea. How about we save Mr. Edgeworth the trouble and I'll tell it to you myself?
On second thought, I don't care why you're here. What's important is that we solve the case in front of us. Agreed?
Wholeheartedly.
Wait, but you were the one who asked in the first place, sir!
What's that saying again? Whip first, think later.
Well, can't you make it the other way just for me?
What are you doing here, Franziska? I thought you were working abroad on something with Interpol.
Wouldn't you like to know? But that's top secret, and I have neither the need nor the obligation to tell you.
I thought she'd say as much.
Anyway, never mind that. Where's the prosecutor in charge of this case? Not that I know who's been assigned, but I was hoping they'd take care of the legwork for me.
Oh, I don't think you're going to get along with Winner.
They haven't even bothered to show up. What in the world could they be doing?
Yeah, I'm not the prosecutor's keeper, sir.
It's hardly fair to whip people who don't deserve it, Francisco.
What use is a whip if you don't use it, And who better to use it on than anybody who isn't giving 110%?
I may not know who's been assigned yet either, but I 110% feel for them already. I couldn't help but notice that you seem to be acquainted with Dr. Hertz.
How very astute of you, Miles Edgeworth. Yes, I know her. Once upon a time, we... Never mind.
She doesn't seem keen to talk about it. Perhaps I'd better leave it for now.
What happened, sir? What happened once upon a time? You cannot tell us now. Ouch!
Only a foolish fool foolishly pries into another person's business. Barker. Now hold your tongue, Scruffy, or you'll get more than a mere tongue lashing.
Well, it's a bit late for that.
Spare the whip, spoil the child. A whip in time saves 9. Didn't you go to school, you whipless wonder?
Good.
Once upon a time, we held hands.
Yes, it seems that leaving it alone was the right choice after all. Okay, do I have anything I can piece together? Security keycard is needed to enter.
But what is this keycard for? Oh gosh, I wonder.
I would imagine that the victim's keycard probably grants access to this room, wouldn't you?
Let me go find out, sir. Beck, they found some details on that keycard in the security system. It's for this room, just like you said.
So the victim was able to enter and exit this chamber freely.
Assuming that the keycard actually belonged to her, yes.
Indeed. Oh, that was the only thing I was missing. Okay.
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you for asking. How are you?
It seems we're no closer to discovering the identity of our victim.
Then, am I really Kay? Can you really be sure?
Of course we're sure.
Wait, wrong button. There it is.
Thank you. And that person lying there? Is someone you may have murdered, but that's all we can say for now.
No, there's no way she did it. Isn't that right, sir?
Indeed. I don't believe the K we know could have done something like this. I'm not in a well, Cost. There'd be a lot more echo if I was.
You're becoming a real softie, Miles Edgeworth.
Do I have a Kiryu-coloured suit? Not at the moment, no. I could edit one. I mean, all I'm doing is changing the colours of the existing suit. For the memes, I could add an echo effect. I mean, if that's what you really wanted, I could. Hang on one moment. Where is it? Oh god. Don't end up in a well. Alright, I will stop fiddling with things. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just wanted to add to... Yeah, I was previewing it. I was previewing an echo. I didn't find out how to add it. So, okay, I guess we're fine. Unless it gets parried or something. Wait, did I have it enabled? I didn't even mean to. Oops. I really don't know what I'm doing with this software. I don't use it that much. That banana voice? What are you talking about? Look, unintentionally failed. Look, I don't use voice effects that often. Anyway, back to the video game. And look who it is again. Oh god, I know that voice. Well, it's like usually when I fail something, I'm like, oh shit, I failed. It's like I can't hear myself back. I was very confused when everyone just said failed. I was like, wait, what? Recall you using it and having a voice called Banana. I'd have to look through it again if you really wanted me to, but I don't want to derail this further.
With a winning smile and the #1 name in the business, it is I, Prosecutor Eustace Winner.
I hate these two.
Please forgive the intrusion. Step away from that body, Edgeworth. I didn't call for you, and I don't need you. This case is mine. It's what the victim would have wanted.
You knew the victim?
So it really is her. But be not afraid, everyone, for the goddess of justice will guide us to the truth.
Oh yeah, it's worked out well for you before, hasn't it?
Oh, she sure will. Now that I'm here, everything is going to be all right.
I swear, is there only like one prosecutor on duty? Franziska, I love you.
Whoever did this will live to regret it. I'll show them. Ah! Miles Edgeworth, who is this imbecile?
Why am I getting the death glare? I've got nothing to do with him.
Franziska von Karma, I presume. My apologies, I should have introduced myself sooner. Verity Gavel, at your service. And the deceased in this case is Rosie Ringer, attorney at law.
Ringer, as in dead Ringer, because we almost confused her for Kay. Alright.
Attorney at law and a member of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
I see. That would explain the keycard. So you're the lead prosecutor. A ring around the rosy as well?
Yep, which means this case will be solved. Ah! This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. You didn't tell me your name yet, little boy. If you want to know my name, all you have to do— Ow! Stop babbling and tell me. Now. It's Eustace. Eustace Winner.
I think we've established where the balance of power lies in this particular room.
Mr. Guy in charge? Here, this is from Grammar. Oh, what's this? Oh, the preliminary findings. Looks like it's game over for you, Edgeworth.
This isn't a game, Mr. Winner.
Alright, that's me done. See you next, Stiff. Yeah, home time. I could murder a bowl of noodles right about now. We're out of here, everybody. Stay healthy.
Wow.
Let's see. So the wound on her head is from when she fell over after she died? Eustace. It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And she died sometime late last night. What now, Gavel? It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice, after all.
No, that would be a tragedy. Oh, I've jotted that down then.
Anyway, that settles it. We need to arrest Kay Faraday.
What? What the heck are you talking about?
I think Eustace's meaning was very clear. Miss Faraday is the murderer.
Why is this guy not up for losing his badge for making now 4 false arrests in a row? Not investigating at all and being a complete idiot? He's not a freaking prodigy at all. How old is he again? He's 17? 17-year-olds don't know shit. Said as a former 17-year-old once upon a time.
And though she is dressed differently than usual, this young lady covered in bandages is Miss Faraday herself, correct?
You really mean to arrest her here and now? If you do, then I'll be forced to object, loudly and forcefully.
And as if further confirmation were needed, there it is. The committee was right to call your conduct into question. It is questionable in the extreme. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, just go. It's fine.
Fine? This is anything but fine, Kay.
I still don't remember anything. So maybe I did it. Maybe I killed that poor woman and I just don't remember. The goddess smiles on those who confess their sins. It is her wish that our confessions cleanse us. She applauds your commitment to the cause of justice, as do I.
Judge Gavelle, Eustace, if you really intend to arrest Kay, could you at least explain your grounds for doing so? I, for one, certainly don't intend to yield. Not until I've seen some evidence to support your accusations.
Then allow me. Prepare to be hit with a face full of deductive genius, Edgeworth.
Oh, this is going to be rich. Why I think Kay did it.
They call it the human race because somebody has to win it. And that somebody is me. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kay Faraday is the murderer. No doubt about it. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving. Which means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer.
What? What?
A deductive genius. That was a total mess.
And if Detective Gumshoe is saying that, you know it must be bad. I asked you to explain your grounds for arresting Kay, yet you've explained exactly nothing.
True, but we haven't seen any proof of her innocence either.
It's alright, Kay. Mr. Edgeworth will pull off a miracle somehow. You gotta believe in him.
But my deductions aren't acts of divine intervention, you know.
Well, Miles Edgeworth, I'd hate for you to disappoint me. But in the event that you do, I will be sure to freely let you know.
Thanks, Mommy. Yeah, shut up with that. It's got nothing to do with it. She's the murderer. She snuck in here looking to do some of her trademark great thieving. Yeah, how did she do that without a keycard, buddy? It's not even worth a full objection. This guy's just an idiot. Objection.
Objection!
Iggy.
Ah, so Eustace's last name is Winner. More like Wiener, because he's a dick. Thank you, Panda, for your graceful insight. Are you familiar with this room, Mr. Winner? It certainly sounds like you are.
What can I say? Winners know where winners go. I'm number 1, and 2, and 3.
In other words, the majority of your work is second, if not third rate.
Why do you always have to make fun of me?
You can take it as a slight if you wish, but the fact remains that you seem unfamiliar with this keycard.
Who do you take me for? Of course I'm familiar with it. You need one of those to get in here. Don't you? Have you no shame?
Mr. Winner, do you really even suspect Kay?
Of course I do. She did it. Faraday's the killer.
Then perhaps you can tell us how Kay got into such a secure room as this without a keycard.
She... You know, there was and she... Yeah.
A masterful summary. Now, as we know, only members of the committee have keycards, therefore only they can enter.
Precisely.
Why is she agreeing with me?
Please take a look at this. I had security pull the data earlier. As you can see, the door to this room was opened at 12:52 AM with Miss Ringer's keycard.
Yeah, and it was also used 2.5 hours earlier by a blank user. So can you explain that? I feel like this also needs bringing up because this implies another person was in the room. Or are we just ignoring this?
We cannot know for certain, of course. But who's to say the culprit didn't enter the room with Miss Ringer? And then kill her over some sort of subsequent disagreement.
It's certainly a plausible theory, but that's all it is. For one, it would require the victim and her murderer to have known one another.
Well, yeah, Kay didn't know the woman. I'm sure of it. How can you possibly be sure of such a thing? That's pure speculation on your part, Detective. There's no place for guesswork in the courtroom or at a crime scene. Hard evidence is what is required.
Yeah, and you don't have that either. So what are you chatting?
In that case, are you suggesting that you have said hard evidence to support your theory? Evidence that Kay Faraday and Rosie Ringer knew one another. But of course.
What?
I have here a letter. Dr. Hertz found it in the victim's chest pocket.
Another of the victim's possessions? And you kept this to yourself until now? You planned for this, didn't you? Despite not being in the room beforehand to plan this? Wait, wouldn't this imply she inspected the body before entering the room? How are you this prepared and also this unprepared at the same time?
It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And then she died sometime late last night. But what now, Gavelle? Very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice, after all. Shall I read it for you?
Or did you just pick... Like, no, because we investigated the body before you got here and we found no such thing, so how do you even have this?
Rosie, thanks so much for agreeing to help with my plan. Now we can both get what we want. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. Kay. This would seem to indicate pretty strongly that the two of them were accomplices, wouldn't you say? Accomplices in a plot to steal from the very room in which we are standing.
Oh, it's either forged evidence or just a plot hole we're not meant to think too much about.
Wait, so your principal suspect is Miss Kay Faraday, for this second crime as well as Miss Ringer's murder.
Hmm.
And the principal suspect?
Don't listen to her, it's all lies, all of it. You're not like that, you never do any of the stuff they're accusing you of.
And how do you explain the letter, Detective?
Unlike Mr. Winner, I suspected that Judge Gavelle herself had some proof to support her accusation. And I didn't expect it to be quite so definitive.
Nicely done, Gavel. Thank you, Eustace.
Hold it!
We're not done here yet. I still have questions, and you'd better have answers.
Would you mind if I handled this, Eustace?
Be my guest.
Have fun arguing Edgeworth into the ground.
You have... Look, we have a bit of a track record going here, and it's currently 3-0 to me. So I don't know
Val,
how you're still this
time
confident.
to have some water.
Thank you.
Stop slouching.
That's just counting the cases, not the individual arguments.
I can't let them steamroller me on...
Steamroller me on this? Shouldn't that just be steamroll?
Can't let them steamroll me on this. I have to find a way to take back the advantage.
Because you'd want the verb and not the noun, right?
As the letter more than adequately proves, Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted. It seems Miss Faraday had asked for Miss Ringer's help in a plot of some kind. But, for whatever reason, their alliance must have broken down. Miss Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out...
If it was in her left chest pocket, it should have a hole in it. Right? Right? The candle stabbed her through the pocket and in 2 other spots, so this should have a hole in it.
She's good. Better than ever, even. I think you could take her down, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, of course.
Don't do this out of pride, Miles Edgeworth. If you're going to fail, do it on somebody else's time.
Hey, whose side are you on, sir?
There is only one side to be on, Scruffy. The side of the truth.
Uh-oh. Looks like the kid's got something to say.
Well, if there's only one side to be on, then it has to be on the winning... Quiet, you.
My faults exactly.
They were acquainted. Seems they asked for her help in a plot. Their alliance must have broken down. She lost her life in the disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer. Classic. Stab wound to the chest. Head injury sustained post-mortem. Yeah, if it was in her left pocket, there'd be a hole in it, bitch. Objection. Hang on, do it properly. Objection! So the victim kept the most vital clue of all closest to her heart. How very touching.
The voices of the dead fight to be heard, and even then they don't always reach us. But her voice rang loud and true, and it told us that Miss Faraday is her killer.
I think you may have misheard her, Your Honor. Or perhaps an evil spirit was trying to mislead you.
Hey, you take that back!
Oh shit, yeah, it's the 5th of November. Of course there's fireworks going on outside.
Perhaps we should try listening to the words of the coroner's report instead.
By all means. If I recall correctly, the victim was stabbed on her left side. No.
Yes, I'm afraid so. You claim that the letter was found in the victim's left chest pocket.
Right where she was stabbed by the candle holder.
Indeed, 3 puncture wounds to the chest, and yet not one to the letter. Miraculous, no? Well, Judge Gavelle, how do you explain that? Because I can think of one explanation, that the letter was deliberately placed there after the fact in order to cast suspicion on Kay. Someone went to a lot of trouble to create the crime scene we see before us. And that someone is the real culprit, who almost certainly also forged this letter. Yes, Cos, the judge is called Gavelle. It's clear that the culprit intended to frame Kay by means of that letter.
You fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Objection!
No, Faraday did it. The letter was in her other pocket. Yeah.
Huh? Seriously?
The whole left chest pocket thing was a mistake. Whoever reported it must have meant their left. Good. Stop your foolish floundering, you foolishly foolish fool. Or are you just that incurably foolish? Baka. Why do you keep whipping me? And stop making fun of my deductions. Yeah. There, I saved you the trouble of disciplining him.
Yes, even though I had no intention of doing so. The letter is stained with blood, which suggested it had indeed been placed somewhere on her left side. Therefore, I doubt there was some sort of mistaken report, not unless that report was given by you.
Gavelle, say something.
No objections? Good. Then allow me to continue. So we've established the existence of a second suspect.
No, we haven't. The murderer had to get in here, remember? Who else could have gotten in apart from Faraday and Ringer?
Whoever it was would have needed a keycard. Judge Gavelle proposed that the killer entered the room together with the victim. What if there was something questionable about the very basis of her theory itself? This piece of evidence points to another suspect other than Kay. You are clearly all that blind. There is a second entry on the keycard report, you goddamn idiots.
Take that!
Look again at the keycard record provided by Judge Gavelle a short while ago. As already noted, the victim's keycard was used at 12:52 AM. But you will note that someone else's keycard is also listed.
A mystery person who could have entered beforehand and lay in wait for the victim, you mean? This other person entered at 10:15 PM, so it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. Except, I'm afraid, it is.
Where's your evidence, huh, Your Honor?
My evidence. I am the evidence, Detective. It was my keycard.
Alright, you did it then.
There's nothing suspicious about a committee member entering the chamber as I please.
2 minutes of your attention after this cutscene. This is a visual novel, this is all cutscene. But sure, what's up? And just have a little break to stretch. And maybe have a bit more to drink. Is this drink tasty? But yeah, sure, what's up? Once the stream delay catches up and you're able to type what it is. Loads of fireworks. And why is your name missing? Yeah, that's weird, that. That is pretty weird. I'll just pause once you've finished typing, Sunpraiser. It's all good. Perhaps not. But that's also not the exonerating evidence you seem to think it is. Unless you can also prove that you yourself didn't murder your colleague.
Overruled!
What utter nonsense. What would I have had to gain from killing her?
Objection!
I'm sure you know how I'm going to answer that, Your Honor. I believe further investigation will shed light on any motives you might have had.
I am a faithful servant of the goddess. Why would I ever resort to an act of crime? I used my keycard, that much is true. But my reason for entering this room is far from questionable.
Then perhaps you'd care to tell us why?
I had business here in the committee chamber. There were certain preparations to make.
Reparations? Well, sounds pretty sus to me.
I am not at liberty to share what I was preparing for. But I am sure Prosecutor Edgeworth can make an educated guess.
You were going through your humble bundle, found some games you haven't redeemed. I think I have Amnesia. Do I have Drawful too? I do. I own that as well. Quantum Break. I don't have Quantum Break, and that's a Remedy game. I tried playing that through the Games for Windows thing. Not Games for Windows, Game Pass. And the Game Pass version didn't work, so I would be interested in Quantum Break. Wonder Song is good. Wonder Song. Not heard of that one, but if it comes with your recommendation, I could give it a go. System Shock I have. Monaco I have. So I guess the only ones would be Wonder Song, This War of Mine, and Quantum Break. And if you still want to give the others away, I'm sure you could put those up in the Discord if anyone wants them. But yes, thank you for considering me with that. My hearing. She must have been busy gathering the documents they were going to use against me. To relieving me of my badge. Thank you very much, Suntracer. I deeply appreciate that.
Alright, children, that's enough. It's good to keep our skills and our tongues sharp, especially when we're young, but that'll do for now.
Who in the... Yeah, who is it? Who?
Really takes me back to the days of my youth. Back when I would wrangle with a certain detective. He disappeared, you know. I hope he's out there somewhere, living his best life. You'll have to forgive me. It's just, I get so emotional. The tears, I can't stop them.
Chairman Winner. Oh. Oh, this is how Eustace got his position. Right. Okay. Winner.
A Verity, my girl. Do you ever stop working? Your dedication puts us all to shame. And this is young Francisca I see before me. Dear child, when did you get so big?
Is there water trapped in his goggles? It's from his tears? Oh.
Uncle Winner, it's been far too long.
And so formal. I thought we were like family. You used to sit on my knee and shout, Uncle Winner, at the top of your little lungs. But time goes by so very fast. One can't help but shed a tear. How old is Francisca now?
19.
Dad, what are you doing here? What am I doing here? A committee member has been murdered and you're in charge of the case, my boy. What is this? Bring your pops to work day?
Silence. You have any idea who he is? This man is practically the right hand of the goddess herself. Former chief prosecutor and the current chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
Now, Verity.
Yes. When she is introduced as a child prodigy in the second game. Yes, the second game.
Hey, Val, take a break. Have some water.
And I think she's introduced at age 16 or 17? But she's 19 now. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's anime art style for you, isn't it? No one ever looks their age.
No need to bring all that up. I'm just a harmless old man, really.
Allow me to apologize for the detective's rudeness.
I am Miles Edgeworth, correct? And your little subordinate, Dick Gumshoe.
Oh, God.
I am Excelsius Winner.
Oh, that is the worst name. Father to this idiot boy, among other things. My wife and I were so happy when he was born. And now she's gone too. Heaven only knows to where. Good night, bird. You look after yourself. Dad, you're here. Use my handkerchief. Thank you, son. You're a good boy. In your own silly way. Like father, like son, I suppose. Though it's hard to say who's the bigger fool. Well, Verity, how goes the investigation?
Thank you for asking, sir. We have identified a prime suspect, 1K Faraday. We're currently trying.
Objection!
You don't have nearly enough to make her your prime suspect, and you know it! Or have you forgotten what we just discovered about the letter?
Objection!
I told you that was just a mix-up. They got the wrong pocket. Ah!
Don't test my patience.
All right, that's enough. Let's all just calm down, shall we?
Sorry you had to see that, sir. My humblest apologies.
I think you've all made your cases very clearly. All except for you, Eustace.
What? But Dad!
We are prosecutors, and it is our duty to identify suspects and bring them to justice. But I wouldn't dare call someone a suspect without evidence or a motive.
Please, Mr. Edgeworth, I know all about your relationship to the accused. Thick as thieves seems pretty apt based on what I've heard.
Thank you for head pat. I'm stealing my glasses.
Kay's no criminal. She's helped us catch the bad guys loads of times.
How much about this case is still unclear, sir. And throwing cheese? Giving me a cheese beard? Please, you have to let us...
It's heartwarming, really. The bonds of friendship are so strong among the young.
Eh?
But circumstances being what they are, I'm afraid those bonds won't be enough. Well, what the heck is that supposed to mean? The prosecutor's office needs this case cleared up as quickly as possible. Time is oh so precious. We have so little of it, and there are so many other cases. I'm sorry, but you understand, of course, don't you?
You must have misspelled it in some way. Windseeker might be one word. And I can't recall if it includes the comma.
All right, Miss K. Faraday. Time to come along quietly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you're not taking her. She's innocent, I tell you.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
To defy the chairman of the committee is to defy the law itself. It is an act so brazen, a hearing won't be necessary at all.
The fuck is big? I mean, Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker is a legendary two-handed greatsword. You know, it's not small. Thunder Fury. Nice.
Are you prepared for Mr. Edgeworth to lose his badge over this, detective?
Why? So either Kay goes down or Mr. Edgeworth loses his badge? What the heck am I supposed to do?
You'd use his badge to shield yourselves? Oh, how the committee too has fallen.
Kay, you're innocent. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Thank you. We've only known each other for a short while, but you've been very kind. And I'm sorry. Sorry for being a criminal. Your contrition has been noted, Miss Faraday, and will be conveyed to the Goddess of Justice.
I want to throw you into a river, Gavel. And not like a clean one either. I want to throw you into the Thames. What comes out is anyone's guess.
What in the world should I do?
When I was little, all I wanted was to be like my father. The river running through Ankh-Morpork. Gosh, Hecky. The Thames folk deserve better. To become an attorney and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But now my fate is tied to that of this one tiny badge. Thank you for head pat. You had a dream you went to a fur con dressed as a possum with its head stuck in a Pringles tube. Nice. I had a weird dream about my laptop having a nasty virus on it that wouldn't go away. And I was trying all sorts to get rid of it. I even resorted to pulling the entire battery out of the laptop itself, and it didn't work. Somehow the laptop stayed on, taunting me. And then I turned the laptop under again, and a new battery was in there. I kept pulling it out, and a new one kept appearing. So I had the genius idea to like tape some paper to the bit over where the battery contacts with to actually complete the circuit. And then the laptop threw a hissy fit at me and exploded. I have very weird dreams. But now, my fate is tied to that of this one tiny badge. One tiny badge against the life of a dear acquaintance. Only eggs. Wait, what? 3 cuties in your area. No. 3 cuties? I'll have you know you'll have to at least buy me dinner first. I'd accept a McDonald's. Who am I kidding? There's nothing to weigh up here. I guess this is it. Goodbye, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
Judge Gavelle, a moment, please. Yes, what is it? Your badge. What is the meaning of this? I'm returning it. From this day forth, I'm a prosecutor no longer. Mr. Edgeworth? What are you doing? Miles Edgeworth, explain yourself right now. You're giving it all up? Just like that?
Well, you can't beat it, sir. Well, tell me you're kidding, please. If you're not a prosecutor anymore, then what does that make me?
I have one duty and one duty alone. To pursue the truth. If being a prosecutor means I must turn a blind eye to the very truth before me, then I will gladly shed the title to be free. I'll carve my own path. One I believe in. I won't let my search for the truth end here.
Objection!
You running away from the Von Karma... from me? Say what you will, Franziska. You won't change my mind. So you're leaving me behind again. I'll never forgive you for this. Never! No. This is all my fault. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for me. Wait, Kay, don't go. You stay right where you are, detective.
But sir...
I'm not a prosecutor anymore.
Don't say that. Where you go, I go, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm always there, right by your side.
There's no need for you to do that now, detective. Simply focus on your job and do what you can.
Well, now, this is no good, is it? We've let a dangerous criminal run free. I try and try, sniffle, and yet it's never enough.
There's no need to worry, sir. We'll set up a cordon. She won't get far.
She'd better not. I'll be very disappointed in you if she does.
Well, you're not threatening me with it anymore, are you? Oh, okay. I was tempted to stop there, but I thought it might have been a bit too cruel. We've still got half an hour. We could probably fit a bit more in. April 5, the 5th, 5:58 p.m. High Prosecutor's Offices, room 1202. Okay. She's not here either. Where are you?
Knockety knock knock, special visitor.
Fender.
Oh, talk about an unhappy face. Everything okay, big guy? You won't earn yourself too many admirers looking like that.
What are you doing here? Has something happened?
Has something happened, he asks. I'll say. It's been all over the news. A murder in the committee chamber. I call that a happening, alright. What with your hearing being today, I thought... Well, couldn't help wondering if you were involved.
And they're reporting it on the news already?
Heck yeah, a dead lawyer, a young woman on the run, they're lapping it up. Crazy stuff, but compelling too, I gotta admit. So, you gonna give me the lowdown or what?
Well, actually...
Whoa, maybe warn a guy before blowing his mind next time. Things are even crazier than I thought.
This isn't a joke, Fender. Kay's out there somewhere, all alone, without her memory.
And not to mention being a suspect in a murder. That definitely doesn't make things any easier. Where the heck could she have gotten to? You sure she don't remember Zip?
I thought she might have come here, but...
No luck, huh? Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Sounds like she thinks she's done you wrong. She wouldn't want to cause you even more trouble by rocking up on your doorstep.
You think I don't know that? I'm out of places to look.
Hey, take a chill pill, compadre. This isn't like you. You're wound up tighter than a clockwork monkey, which isn't a bad thing, necessarily. After all, it's got even you running from pillar to post looking to save an innocent from jail. Acting like the attorney I know you were born to be.
Look, Fender, I may have given up my badge earlier. That doesn't mean I've decided to become an attorney. However, Kay isn't just some suspect in a murder to me. She's somebody I've come to know very well, even if we've only been acquainted for a short while. I'm out of places to look, despite only having been to my own office. And she'd never harm a fly, let alone another person.
Oh, blow my mind twice in 5 minutes, why don't you? Kid's lucky to have you in her corner, champ. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but there's quite the bond that sprung up between the two of you. Enough to give me and your old man's a run for its money, even.
It's nothing like that, really. She just likes to involve herself in my affairs.
You can say that again. From what I've seen, she likes to charge into things no holds barred. But she's done you some good, I can tell. You two make a great team. Can't say I'm not a little jealous, seeing as my partner in crime's no longer around. Anyway, you need to track her down. Connections like that don't grow on trees. I should know. Alright, how about this for a plan? You're fresh out of ideas about where she could be, and you can't just walk the street shouting her name. So why not go back to the source, looking at how she lost her memory in the first place. You might just turn up some clues that'll help narrow things down.
That's not a bad idea. Based on what she told us, it sounds like it all started at the big building.
And that's where we're headed. Next stop, the big time. Maybe you can give your face the good news on the way. Kay won't come frolicking back into the fold if the first thing she sees is you scowling like that.
Very funny. Fender is truly a force of nature all on his own. Okay. The sun sure set quickly.
Not even a murder on the premises could make this place close its doors. Gotta chase that last dollar, huh? Hardly anybody around, though. Guess we got the whole place to ourselves.
Except for the two people to our side. first step toward proving Kay's innocence is to figure out how she lost her memory.
After Miles, we got sleuthing to do. This rooftop paradise is all ours, so let's focus up and do what we're good at for Kay, alright?
Do what we're good at, huh? I suppose I should be grateful there's at least something we can do. Okay. Well, she was stood here. It's a pretty sizable cherry tree. Its flowers are just on the cusp of full bloom. According to what Kay told us, she was standing beneath this tree until she was pushed and fell. Can I examine this hatch? So the person in the raincoat that Kay saw supposedly approached her from the direction of the concession stand, which would suggest that she was pushed over this railing here. The railing is chest high. You'd have to try really hard to go tumbling over the edge of it. This month's Humby Bundy has Dark Tide. I mean, if anyone grabs it, I could do with an excuse to play it again. I had fun with it, but I never got very far. Everything looks sturdy enough, too. Can I not check the hatch? The hatch seems like it might be important. Pegasus, winged horse of legend. No, wait. Isn't that a horn on its forehead? Oh, it's a unicorn? No, that can't be right either. Unicorns don't have wings. What's this? There's a little plaque there at the bottom showing the name of the piece. Contradictions. That'll teach me to bother engaging with such things.
Mr. Edgeworth, we meet again.
What are you two doing up here?
Seeing as we came all this way, we thought we might as well enjoy some cotton candy. What the heck are you doing here? Looking to get yourself in more hot water?
You needn't worry about me, Dr. Hertz. I'll be just fine.
Whatever you say, Mr. Soon-to-be ex-prosecutor turned ex-prosecutor. Saw that coming a mile off. Wait, what? You got fired?
As I said, you needn't concern yourself with my affairs.
If you say so. So, how's Kay doing? Uh-oh. Did something happen? Maybe I can help? How about an injection?
No injections, thank you. Unfortunately, a jab a day does not keep the world's troubles at bay. Thank you for giving back my glasses.
Yeah, it did get kind of chilly, huh? Come on, let's head home. Alright then, Mr. Edgeworth, catch you again soon.
Okay.
Hey, you, how about some delicious Parting Clouds cotton candy to brighten your day?
Parting Clouds? Is it named for the fact we're so close to the clouds up here?
Our gimmick is we take a normal serving of cotton candy, we split it in half, part it, if you will. Half the candy, same price, double the profit, and we're laughing all the way to the bank.
I don't think your customers will be laughing if you keep sharing that information quite so freely. Something to examine here. There we go. You can insert a coin to take a good look at the distant landscape for a few minutes. Kay absolutely would have been all over this. The Kay I know, anyway. But for now, I'd better focus my powers of observation on this rooftop. Okay, I can't examine that edge. What's this? Looks like a TV for showing announcements from the various companies in the big building. At the moment, it's just showing a regular broadcast channel. God, what am I standing here for? The Steel Samurai isn't on today. Okay.
Yeah. Were you in the tree?
Candy floss? Yeah. Yeah, they do. I've not had any in a long time.
Hi.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I was just lying in wait.
Well, that would make you a criminal, Kay. Perhaps you meant to say laying low?
Oh, yes, that.
Nevertheless, I doubt people will look kindly on a suspect haunting the site of her supposed crime. Surely you understand that, even in your current state? Grab it later in the month along with an SSD. Hang on, do I still have it installed? Because I'm pretty sure it's a chunky game. I do not have it installed. It is 67.25 gigs. It's on the chunky side. Not 620. No, there's no way. Yeah, about 62. I don't think even Call of Duty's that high yet. On top of which, while you've been playing hide and go seek, I have been worried sick and frantically trying to find you. Are you mad at me? Of course I am. Now what were you thinking coming back here? Did you think your amnesia would excuse your recklessness?
No! I came to try to help you get your badge back.
What?
I thought if I could get my memory back, I might be able to remember killing that poor woman. I thought if I came back to where I lost my memory, maybe I could...
There's one thing you haven't lost, you know. Your ability to surpass my expectations at every turn. I couldn't be more certain now that you're the Kay I know so very well. However, I don't appreciate you being so reckless. Do you hear me?
I'm sorry.
Seriously, Miles, you're killing me over here. You were banking good guy points and then you went and blew it by blowing your top. Good to see you, kiddo. Glad to see you safe. Come on, bring it in.
Okay.
That's the spirit. Not now, Fender.
Yeesh, I was just trying to lighten the mood.
Live news now from the big building, where a shocking murder took place earlier today. Police continue their hunt for a young woman known to have been present at the scene. She's considered the prime suspect, and police say no effort is being spared in trying to track her down.
Oh, mama. They're not messing around, huh? Well, team, what's the plan? Looks like the clock's ticking down, and fast.
Indeed. It's only a matter of time before they find us. Please, Nessa, that's not it. Don't imply that's it, because Kay is not an adult. Only a matter of time before they find us.
Hey, Val, take a break. Have some water.
Thank you.
Stop slouching.
Thank you for the drink.
Alright, first things first. Hey, you're sticking with us from now on, capiche?
But I've caused you so much trouble already.
You can hardly make things any worse for me at this point.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Then it's settled. We're in this together, like the Three Musketeers. Miles here will be in charge of proving Kay innocent.
And I will, believe me.
So I'm going to need you to do everything you can to help him with his investigating. Okay, Kay?
Yes, of course.
Great. Now we gotta move quick. Don't be getting bagged by the boys in blue before we've even started. You two may not have any more to lose, but your Uncle Eddie sure does. Gregory would never forgive me if I got the family office shut down.
Thank you, Fender. I'm sure I owe you more than I'll ever really know.
I hope I've been of help to you so far. I came back here because I thought it might jog my memory.
How about we go over what you remember one more time?
Okay. I was standing under the tree, sheltering from the rain, and I saw a person in a red raincoat, and then they pushed me.
Can you remember anything specific about the person in the raincoat?
I'm sorry, I just can't recall anything. But there is one thing. I could see the moon over their shoulder as they came closer and closer.
The moon?
And
It's all very fuzzy, but it was in the exact same place as it is right now.
That makes no sense.
Floating up there above the cherry blossoms.
The moon was visible over the mysterious figure's shoulder. Yeah, that makes no sense at all, Kay. I should keep that in mind.
I keep feeling like there's something just on the edge of my memory.
There is? It could very well be the clue we need. Alright, just let it float to the top of your mind and say whatever comes into your thoughts.
Alright. I'm seeing... It's very faint, but... I'm seeing a small restaurant. Just a counter and some seats. And there's this incredible smell. A beautiful golden soup, not too thick, tastes just right. Filled with delicious noodles. They're firm, but not too firm. And that's when a thought crossed my mind. I'm going to order another bowl.
A captivating memory, but sadly one that has nothing to do with the case. You used to say you were the second great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw dedicated to stealing the truth. Do you really not remember any of that?
I think you're right. I was a noble.
Not a noble, okay? A noble outlaw. Still, I suppose you got halfway. Can I go over my logic? She couldn't have been stood there. No? That's not quite right. I need to reconsider the information at hand. Hang on, do I need to, like, look at the tree again? No? Rip health bar. Yeah, I made a mistake. I feel like I'm on the right line, though. The railing in the moon? The railing in the stair? One of these connects. Walk toward her from the concession stand. But you saw the moon behind them, which means... Okay, maybe this time. There we go. It's what I was thinking, it's just not what the game wanted. Thinking back over what Kay has said, the person in the raincoat approached her from the direction of the concession stand, which implies that she was pushed over the railing on the side opposite the stand. But she also said she could see the moon over this person's shoulder. When we checked just now, the moon was in a different location than expected. But Kay claims it's currently in the same spot in the sky as on the night of the incident. This throws the positions of the moon and the person in the raincoat out of alignment with her story. I think her memories may have become confused somehow. What's more, if she really had been pushed over that railing, she would never have survived the fall. Therefore, I must conclude that she may not have fallen where she thought she did. And then these two? You may have fallen, Kay, but it couldn't have been over that railing. Because if you had, you wouldn't be alive now to tell the tale.
But I definitely remember standing under that tree. If I was pushed, the only way I could have fallen is over that railing, isn't it?
Not unless the ground opened up and swallowed you whole. You mean like the hatch?
The ground can just open up like that? How?
No, my bad, not a joking matter. Sorry, kiddo. It may also be closer to the truth than you think, Fender. Let's take another look at the ground in that area. There's a chance we might have missed something. Yeah, the hatch. Like I keep saying. I'm only allowed to look at it now. There must be a clue around here somewhere. Let's scour the scene and inspect everything. Yeah. What's this? Looks like a service hatch. Okay, do you think you might have fallen down here instead?
Nah, you'd never be as clumsy as that. I'm sorry, I just can't say one way or the other.
Oh, my bad, kiddo. Just another one of my silly musings. You don't have to take me so seriously, you know.
I don't? Never? Well, maybe not never, if I told you to leap lyrically into my arms. Bender. Chill, Marzarino, where's your sense of whimsy? So, never then. Ouch. Talk about a deep cut. Down the hatch. As you can see, they're still hard at work up on the 50th floor. That's where the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence holds their disciplinary hearings, correct? That's right. There have been people walking by the windows all evening. This is one serious investigation. If they're shooting live, how are they not seeing the prime suspect on the roof? Well, this doesn't make our chances of getting out of here with Kay any rosier. We'll have to find a way to slip past the press. I'm a cool and mysterious customer, Marzarino, but I'm no spy. Maybe we can use him as a decoy if things get desperate. Okay, whatever you're thinking, quit it. I can tell it doesn't end well for me. Scour the scene? Looks like this is being broadcast live. Which means we're looking at the big building in real time. Does that mean we're on TV too? I don't think so. The camera's far away enough and it's just dark enough that I think we'll be safe for now. At least we better be. If Kay is spotted, things will go from bad to worse before we know it. They're still hard at work up on the 50th floor. Yep, you said this. I guess they're still working the committee chamber. The reporter's right. You can see people moving around. Wait, something's very wrong with this picture. And I can use a certain piece of evidence to help me deduce exactly what. I can? Oh! Oh, there's another floor! If that's the committee chamber, then there's a 51st floor. Or they're on the 49th. Huh. Urethra! Question, how many floors does this building have? Easy, 50, right? Kinda ironic that just a few feet above where the committee works its ugly little schemes. It's a place where starry-eyed young romantics come to wish for everlasting smoochy times. But then, what's that dark space above the 50th floor? The gloomy underbelly of love? Wait a minute. Exactly. The committee chamber is supposed to be on the top floor, directly beneath the viewing platform. But it actually appears to be located one floor below that. Clearly contradicting the supposed facts. Maybe whoever wrote the pamphlet made a mistake? Somehow I don't think so. Call me crazy, but... yes, there appears to be a hidden 51st floor. It's not that well hidden. Oh, and that's where they keep the gloomy underbelly of love? My heart. Oh, you didn't need to take it quite so literally, Kay. Good, and perhaps we can take this more seriously instead. Come on, have you met me, Miles? That might be easier said than done. Still be easier than trying to enjoy your so-called jokes. You normally count the floors as... yes? People need to know how many floors there are. For multiple reasons. You fell down the hatch into the secret floor. Me as a layperson? I mean, if you want to lay a person, that's your prerogative, I guess, but, you know. How has no one noticed? Okay, we're using the present tense instead of the past tense, so there's another error in the text. How has no one noticed a floor between the 50th floor and the viewing platform until just now? Did nobody proofread this? Did they not have time? Oh, you got me there. Kinda hard to hide a set of stairs going up to it, if you ask me.
That's precisely it. We've encountered at least a dozen typos so far. Things like stairs that are normally out in the open going unnoticed by people seems a bit implausible. Which can only mean the 51st floor is no ordinary floor and can't be reached by ordinary means.
We'll just have to reach it through extraordinary means, right?
I don't know about extraordinary means. Maybe let's go for unconventional. Indeed. Consider, if you will, the hatch we found by the cherry tree. What would you expect to find on the other side of such a hatch? A room of some kind, perhaps?
Oh, a secret room. Now you're talking my language. Let's go take a look. Alright, there we go.
What is this place?
Oh, that stuff down there. Is it a storeroom?
Or whatever it is, I think we can safely say that this is where you fell.
Oh, go team. Strike one mystery off the list.
Yes, but the greater mystery of Kay's memory loss remains unsolved. We have a red rain-coated figure who can walk on air to account for, among other things.
Hey, can't a guy bask in his success for a second? So we found a hidden storeroom. I vote we scooch on down and check it out.
We have pretty much exhausted everything up here. It can't hurt to take a look. I got my health back.
Is that you, Mr. Edgeworth?
Emma, what are you doing here?
I heard about what happened from Detective Gumshoe. I was in the area, so I thought I'd come by and see what's going on.
Some water.
Have some water.
Stop slouching.
And the continued argument and chat over how to pronounce her name. Because I still say Emma would be two M's. This is Emma Sky. And unless Case 5 of Game 1 is in the anime... I've not actually watched the anime. If that's brought up, then we'd get, like, voiced confirmation, I suppose. I should probably look into that. She's a high school student, currently studying in Europe to become a forensic scientist. The younger sister of a former superior of mine. We've also stood in court together.
The detective called me up in a panic. He said your badge fell off the big building and that Kay was in a man's suit and...
Hold it right there. Didn't you just leave to go back to Europe a few days ago? And you're back again already? Punk, I'm not a prosecutor anymore. There we go.
Yep, I'm here with one of my professors. Yeah, but not to do any schoolwork or anything, just some interpreting.
And shouldn't you be off doing that instead of gallivanting around a crime scene?
Oh, it's fine. There's this wonderful thing called body language, after all.
That's not an actual language, Emma.
Anyway, never mind me. This is about Kay. How is she? Where is she?
Yeah, because Apollo's trilogy is set years after this.
Ah, shucks. Isn't that sweet, Kay Meister? Your little friend's worried about you. Oh, yes. Who's this guy? Don't tell me you went and got a new assistant, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, very funny, young lady. It's actually the other way around, I'll have you know. Eddie Fender, attorney at law, and senior partner at Edgeworth & Co. law offices. Edgeworth? So you are his assistant? Wait, attorney? Since when were you a defense attorney?
I'm not. To say it's complicated is an understatement.
Oh, let's not sweat the details for now, yeah? First things first. An attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Really? Oh, it's like I'm not even here. What is this, some kind of weird experiment?
Perhaps we should head down below. I'll explain that.
I agree. The police could be here any minute. Who's this?
I'll explain later, Ermintrude. Come on, time to go.
Oh, alright. You better explain yourself, Mr. Hotshot Pro... attorney?
Trust me, I'll explain that too.
Oh, okery dokery do. Down the hatch we go.
To be continued. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. We're wrapping up there for real this time. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. Hope you've had a good time today. Next time on Iguanga. Gosh hecky. Shout outs to all the social links in chat, including the VOD channel. I've been uploading my Alan Wake 2 playthrough on there because I've been playing through the rest of that in my own time. There's only one part of that left to upload, and that's going up tomorrow. So if you want to catch the ending and what I thought of that, make sure to check that out. As for the VOD that people may be watching now in the future, it's over now. Bye YouTube. I'm no good at these ending things, but I don't want to like write up like an outro because that I feel would feel synthetic. Just personally, I know it works for some people, but not for me. Bye YouTube.